I'm Arianne Bellizaire. I'm here at the John Richards showroom with two very special guests. First, we have New York-based interior designer Robin Barron.
Hi.
And we have artist and new, I guess this is your second market being in the showroom with John Richards. Fabulous artist, one of my favorite, Benson-Cobb. Thank you guys both for taking the time out of your busy day to come and sit and talk with us. But I thought we'd talk about design and kind of, one, what your aesthetic is, but then also where you get your inspiration from. So maybe start with you, Carol, because I think what you do is such a starting point for a lot of us with what we do. Talk to us about your design aesthetic and how you translate that into your artwork.
It is really funny because I feel it's the other way around.
Really?
So do I. I actually get inspired by seeing a space and being able to go, okay, now I know what painting and what feeling the designer is going for to finish that space. I've always been the back end of the project, which is my comfort level. I know most artists are the total opposite.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm project based. So
I know,
for me,
that actually,
swatches, I need
that actually
a vision.
is great because that actually bridges the second question, which was what is your inspiration? So for you, your inspiration is actually the space.
Yeah,
and you
what is the
create
designer's vision?
Yeah, your piece to that.
How they want it to feel.
Right.
Because remember, you know, as the designer, I'm working day to day with each client.
Yes.
So I get to know them, I get to know their lifestyle. So usually when I bring in artwork and work with an artist, it's from the perspective from the client, what they need, and from a designer, what do I need to help really punctuate everything that I've done for design to meet their lifestyle. So I think it's right, unless someone's an art collector and everything's geared around the art, I think the collaboration between your work and the designer's work is really critical.
That's wonderful. So that's good. This is great because you're on the same page.
Yes,
wonderful.
we are.
We should take that idea to market.
We should. Okay, so we skipped the first question and talked about the inspiration and how that plays a role in your pieces. So let's go back to the first. What is your aesthetic? When I look at a piece, how do I know it's you? And when I look at a space, how do I know it's you? If I can see you at all. Because sometimes it's really about what that client wants and what their home needs to look like for them. So let's start with you.
I think, really for me, a lot of my development was in the high deserts of Arizona with beautiful sunsets, rock formations. I think for me it's a love of the natural, organic, not really wanting to see anything but having something that gives you something to focus on and then your imagination.
Okay.
So forms, obviously sunsets, landscapes, really nature, I mean organic, things that you can look at forever, not, oh, there's a tree.
Right.
And feeling, how that makes you feel when you see the ocean, when you see those colors hit, things that you can live with for the rest of your life instead of,
Forever, good, okay.
Well, my inspiration is definitely the client. So my tagline is confidence begins at home. Because I really believe that our home affects us in so many profound ways. So my goal is to take the client's inspiration from the client, who they are. It's not because of what they tell me or show me. It's by taking them out and really getting into their head. That can happen after a few days, one day out with them. It's not a matter of how much time I spend. It's a matter of how something clicks. And once that clicks, the entire inspiration for the home really comes from them and their lifestyle. So that goes all the way through to the art. Of course, that being said, my job is to elevate their taste level and take what, sort of give them what they don't know they want.
That's right.
So that's my inspiration.
And that's the value that you bring as a designer is understanding what they want and need and their hopes and their dreams and what they want to achieve and showing them what's possible.
That's right.
With the things that they don't even know are at their disposal, like your artwork, and bringing that into the space and making it see.
Because most clients, in my experience, unless they're art collectors, they don't really understand, art and they'll see a piece of art and they'll just like it and buy it. They don't have the sense of keeping a thread throughout the home that keeps it a consistent, not the same look, but a consistent look, a consistent feel throughout the home. And I think that's really critical when working with art. I think it's one of the things that really makes a difference between a beautifully designed home and maybe not so beautifully designed house.
So I think if you asked any designer, they would always tell you that each space tells a story, the client's story, where they are in their life, what their hopes and dreams are, where they've been, if it's a collection or where they've traveled. So when you think about your art, you know, you said that you're very inspired by nature and deserts and landscapes, and what story do you feel like your art helps the room tell? And how do you do it? I feel like a lot of your pieces, to me, mimic textiles and bring kind of a softness and just a soft beauty to a space. So tell me how you use your art to support the story that the client and the interior designer are telling in that space.
Well, I think it's really seeing their vision and going, okay, how can I take the things that they really want to achieve and my aesthetics, put it together in something that I feel like adds to it and hit the mark. And back in the day, I used to do only originals, and I would actually paint 2 paintings. I'd paint one that I knew for sure, it's like, this is what I totally feel they're gonna go for. But I'm gonna have a backup. Every single time, it's like the one I knew, you know, it's a feel, it's the weirdest thing.
But you know, what I find is unique about where you work is by what you just said about you painted too, you seem to always have a sense of meeting needs of the designer and client. A lot of artists don't do that. It's their way or the highway. They paint themselves, it's one way, there's no flexibility. And I one of the great things about you that I think is really wonderful from my perspective is that you are taking, you know, me into account, my client into account, what our needs are into account, while you're also being creative.
And true to your...
And it's funny because I used to always, on my originals, I always signed on the back because I never knew which way the designer needed to turn the painting.
Yeah.
And I just, for me it was, I'm a pleaser. So I was like, well, what do you need it to be?
Right, whatever you want it to be.
I love that. I can't tell you how many times I'll find a piece of art, it can only be hung vertically.
That's right.
I need it horizontally, but you can't. The artist did not
Intend for it to be that way.
That's right. And so I so appreciate not only your aesthetic and your beautiful work, but also the way you think. So
That's good.
Thank you.
Yes. I love this mutual admiration. Like, just, that's the love. I love it. So, okay, let's talk about how you're able to use what is very effective on canvas and on the wall and apply it in unusual and innovative ways. Like...
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, oh my gosh.
you have to show this fabric.
Okay, can you stand up?
Yes.
Okay. Can you
It's
see it?
so beautiful.
Look at it.
I'm in love with this.
I think that's brilliant.
You took this from a
And
painting, right?
This is actually generated from Dune on the wall, and so is this. So it's different sections within that painting, and it's just like this playground of which section you take and duplicate. And this is like at a crazy 90-inch repeat. I mean, we have multiple pieces of art within the painting.
Wow.
Like the large canvas on the wall, same thing. It's out of the same painting, but it's more of a, it's a different design.
So tell us about the process from, tell us about how you went from knowing that you wanted it to be wall art to something that is a textile, whether it's because if I'm understanding correctly, we can do it on a fabric, we can do it on a wallpaper, or a piece of art. There's so many different options for customization, and even you mentioned earlier the scale. You can change the scale of it and just really make it your own. So how did you go from one point to the next to grow?
So we do really the whole process really started because I do my own printing. Obviously I don't do the John Richard reproduction printing anymore, but it's when you do a gallery wrap reproduction, there's this cloning effect. So that was really the start of it. And then going, oh wow, what happens if you repeat and repeat?
Yes.
And then you start printing on canvas and you go, wow, stretch it. And the next thing you're like, oh my gosh, how far can we go? How big can I do this repeat? You start going, wow, that's basically wallpaper. That's basically, you know, how else can I apply this? And so it really was just this natural progression. Going, yeah, we have the same printer that we can run wallpaper. And then just, I think just my love of linen and going, well, what is this going to look like? So it's just this real organic, and then seeing how's it look on an ottoman? Do I need to change the repeats for, you know, really, now we're developing to fit across the board so that they can use it across the board instead of just like this, obviously. Cannot be used in
It's a great opportunity for someone who wants to bring a really highly customizable piece or, you know, a unique twist on art. You know, the sofa is now a statement piece. That's a piece of a work of art in itself. So those things are really valuable for you.
What's beautiful about, you know, this fabric and this sofa and these ottomans is that it is making a statement and in the sense of being another piece of art, but because of your eye and your aesthetic, it's really still not the focal point in the room. So from a designer standpoint, from my standpoint, I can mix this and match this with other looks, colors, textures without it overpowering.
That's right.
You know, art on the wall could make a bigger statement.
Right.
Or the fabric can, but everything can't be the same statement. So I love the fact that this is just so subtly another artistic statement in a room. It's beautiful.
Are you, either of you, inspired by travel? And if so, where?
I know.
I asked the question and I was like, what if they say no? No, they're not going to say no. So tell me, if you're inspired by travel, what is one of the most inspiring places you've ever been?
Cinque Terre,
Okay.
just the fishing villages in Italy. I think natural elements, cliffs and rocks. Well, I love it. I feel like they're my people. Passionate and happy. Definitely, I mean, Europe in general. Amsterdam, we visited Amsterdam recently. So yeah, just travel. I think just different cultures, experiences. Even New Orleans, Savannah. I mean, things in the United States that are just... Are you from Savannah?
I'm from Louisiana.
Oh, Louisiana.
Yeah, I was in New Orleans. I was a little late, but
Just went to Savannah recently. I was like, oh
Yeah,
my
that's
gosh,
beautiful
the
too.
stone, you know, just the architecture. Just to me, I just absorb everything. You know?
Yeah.
And you know, my husband makes fun of me sometimes because I'm just like,
but it's good. Feed your
yeah,
soul.
it's just taking it all in. Even you know, from simple things to the concrete. You know, just how things are formed.
Yeah.
So definitely travel.
Good.
The ocean. I mean, oh my gosh.
Yes.
I don't even have to say that. But.
Right. So what about you, Rob?
Well, what inspires me is travel for sure. Anywhere I go, I'm always influenced by what I'm seeing and hearing. My favorite thing to do is wander around, sit down at a cafe outside and people watch. That's my favorite thing. I'm inspired by the fashion, I'm inspired by everything that I'm seeing and hearing.
Yes.
My most favorite place, though, to be honest, for whatever, is Paris.
Yes.
That's where my soul is. I know I've had
Like
lifetimes
something,
ago.
yes.
I have, I can't help it. So, but Paris for me is, you know, every time I go, and I go quite frequently, I come back energized.
Yes.
You know, for design.
I think that's really fascinating because whenever we ask the question about travel and inspiration, most people will say it's the architecture, it's the nature, it's the, you know, what you find there. And for you, when you said it's the people, I think that's really fascinating because fashion is such an influence in our industry. There's a give and take, a push and pull between fashion, what's going on there and what's going on in our industry. And so that makes a lot of sense, but you're the first person I've ever heard articulated that way.
I started my career in fashion. I was
Well,
a fashion designer.
there you go.
So I still to this day am very influenced by fashion
Right.
in so many ways.
Right.
So
Wow.
that makes sense.
That makes sense. So we know this market, what you've done, you know what you're seeing at this market. Let's project a little bit. What do you think is coming down the pike in terms of the way art is presented, the way art is maybe reinterpreted, reiterations of how things, textiles are displayed or used? What do you think is coming next?
For my line personally, or just in general?
Whatever you want to tell us about your line. Give us a sneak peek. We would love that. Or just in general. You know, what do you think are some of the things that we'll see just in general?
Go ahead.
What do you think?
Well, I think that what we're seeing in general in the world of design is that it is very eclectic. It's about expressing yourself. It's not that we're not dictated the way that we used to be, even in fashion. There was, you know, when a style came out, everybody wore that. It doesn't work that way anymore. I think that's true in design. And I think that what I'm seeing is that art is now accessible for the first time on many different levels and price points. That is not something that used to be the case. Art was very precious. You had, you know, photos and prints and things, but now you're seeing real art original art reproduced at a price point that's very affordable, but it still looks, the quality, like what I see here, the quality is so beautiful, it looks like original art. So I think that that's really, we're going to see more of that. I think that it's fantastic. The world of design should be accessible to everyone.
And that difference in seeing it in an environment instead of a cold gallery, intimidating, and a higher price point.
Right. I mean, if confidence begins at home, which is my motto, my tagline, then everybody should understand that it helps them, you know, feel better about their lives and their homes. So art's a pivotal part of that. It's a critical part of it. Think about how many people don't live with art because they think they can't afford it. They're really losing a big part of life experience not to be surrounded with art. So I think it's fantastic. I think that's the trend that I'm seeing.
Okay, that's good. That's good. I would agree.
Ditto.
What she said. So if you're, I mean, you can agree because I do agree with what you're saying too. But so in that case, what do you think is new for you?
Yeah, the pulling things together that are out of the, you know, just the casual elegance.
Yeah.
Making it more of a homier, well, homier is not the right word, but
like just livable,
eclectic and break the rules.
Personal.
You know, where things are more
approachable.
Approachable, and it's okay to put things together that, you know, more of the eclectic feel and comfort. I guess it really is casual elegance.
Yes. That's good.
Although I do want to say that your art can work in a very formal environment too.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, I don't think that the art defines formality or casualness. I think that's putting the elements together of design and art. That's what makes that happen.
I agree. Well, thank you so much for taking out the time to come and sit on this fabulous sofa and chat. I really enjoyed it. I hope you enjoyed it too, and I hope everyone is able to watch and enjoy as well.
Thank you. Thank you for having us.
Thank you.